You are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'.
What is going down? What the fuck is going down? It is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'. Welcome to the show, guys. If you're new to the podcast, welcome to the show. If you're into video games, if you're into anime, nerd culture, then you've come to the right place because we talk about all of that here. We got a nice show today. I got a few updates I want to talk about. We got some Dragon Ball Z Kakarot DLC to talk about. We have some Budokai Tenkaichi 4 to talk about. We also have some Diablo 4, sad news for me personally. And we have my Anime Watchlist, which isn't very much. We also going to talk about some Final Fantasy 16 in the building as well, and a little bit more sprinkled on top. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. Let me first say, it has been a hellacious week. If you guys have been listening to the show, you know that I've just been in the process of moving, and it's been treacherous, man. I'm not going to lie to you. It took a lot longer than we thought. We had to even go back and move out more shit, and we still have to go back one more time. So it's just been hellacious, and anybody who moves and knows the feeling, you know what I'm talking about. It's a drag, and nobody likes doing it. You always end up losing stuff, finding stuff that you thought you'd never see again. It's been up and down, to say the least. But yeah, even my sleeping arrangements have been crazy. Right now, I am sleeping with my son, to be honest with you. Long story behind that, the bed that was in our room, it's very lumpy. It was something wrong with it. We didn't find out until we actually started trying to lay in it. Luckily, we had a spare, believe it or not, in the garage, and we were able to swap those out, and everything is a little bit more comfy now. But man, that's just one feather in the cap of what went down this past week. But man, maybe I'll share more stories with you guys at a later date. But the good news is I'm here, moved in for the most part, trying to get acclimated to everything. Right now, as I stand speaking into this microphone, I am in the kitchen. It's a big kitchen, and I have everything on one round table. So I have my PlayStation, my PlayStation 5, my Xbox Series S, Nintendo Switch, 2 PCs or 2 laptops, and a monitor, all on this pretty big table. Okay, it all fits here. I got controllers here. I've got the microphone here. And I must say, for a on-the-fly setup, it's pretty cool for something last minute. I have to admit that. And you know, your boy is going to make it work. No matter what I got to do, I'm going to make it work. If I had to go to the closet, I was going to do that, but I was going to make the shit work. So that's what I'm doing right now. That's the current setup. Hopefully it'll stay like this, because I do not want to unhook any of this for, the foreseeable future. So we'll see where this goes. But right now, yeah, man, only thing I'm missing right now, in my opinion, is a gaming chair, which have gotten quite cheap since I've been looking, man. The last time I looked was a couple days ago, because I'm desperate now for some sort of gaming chair. All these other chairs, kitchen table chairs and rinky-dink office chairs. There are some awesome office chairs, but not the one that I currently am using. But apparently Amazon has some shit popping right now. I think you can get a decent chair for like $60 plus like $20 for shipping. So around $80, $85, you can get a decent gaming chair. And for, player price, because these chairs are pretty expensive, man. I mean, I've looked into them, and they're, $250, $300, some of us up to $400 for some of these chairs. It's crazy. But yeah, Amazon apparently has one. I do my research. I don't buy anything off the cusp, and especially if it's something like a chair. For me, I need lumbar support. I need all that. So I looked into it, and it's 33,000 reviews, and it's got 4.5 stars. So that's a pretty good score right there. So I think I'm going to push play on that as soon as possible and get out of these other chairs. and get into a nice, comfortable gaming chair that can kind of lean back and forward as need be, man. Because for somebody like your boy who's going to be sitting in this chair, not just playing games a lot, but I edit videos and I do all these things. And if you're going to be sitting down for an extended period of time, you got to make sure you're pretty comfortable. So that's the mission. And I'm going to make that a reality very, very soon. So, yeah, I'm just happy to be here. Son's made friends already. First day of school's got 2 girls who likes him. He's got a friend that he's been over, whose house he's been over already like 3 or 4 times since we moved here in the neighborhood. So everything's looking up as far as all of that's concerned. And yeah, man, we're going to get started with the show. I'm excited because there's a lot of things here that I can't wait to happen. Some things that I've done. And let's get into some of that. Let's start off first by talking about the Resident Evil 4 demo. I played that, finally had a chance to play that, and I didn't think I was going to play, guys. I didn't think I was going to have a chance to play because every time I got ready to sit down, I had something else to pack, or, moving into where we're at now, it was just a long process and getting everything set up because I initially had all my game systems and everything like that set up in the room. But the problem with that is the way that the room was arranged and where the bed was at. And in my situation with my kids, it wasn't going to be a comfortable transition. So in other words, when I try to game or when I'm trying to just do whatever, it was going to be hard because they sleep in that room at night and I usually game at night. So, snoring in the background, or my daughter seeing the TV on, not wanting to go to bed and wanting to be up under me because she sees that I'm awake and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. She thinks she can play. So it just made it just all wrong. So I had all that shit hooked up, all these cords, everything done. And then I said, it's not even going to work. So then I decided to move it out here. So I'm out here at 2:20 in the morning right now, with mostly everyone asleep. And that's why I do what I do at night, because that's usually when I get the most privacy and I don't have any disturbances. So it's just the way I rock. It's just the way I move. And that's how I set it up, But anyway, it's cool right now. But I got a chance to play the demo finally, played it the other night, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly with it. The graphics are nice and crisp. I love, the atmosphere. It definitely set the tone. I mean, I felt like I was in this world trying to, get into some shit. All I'm going to say is I can't wait for the actual game. 24th is going down. The demo is really short, though, like way shorter than I thought it was going to be. But I still was pleased with what I was able to do. I actually got a chance to watch a video, and I think it was titled like Gory Combat or something like that. And it just showed Leon running around with all types of weapons, shotguns. That shotgun looks stupid. So I'm definitely going to be conserving my shotgun bullets because that does hella damage to these idiots out here in these Resident Evil 4 streets. And I can't wait to be a part of that very soon. This is one of my most anticipated games. I love Resident Evil. I have this OG Resident Evil hat that I get much love for every time people see me with it, wearing it around. And Leon is my favorite character out of the whole thing. So Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 are my favorites all day. Resident Evil 4 is the number 1. I'm ready for this game. So played the demo. Everything's good about it. The reviews are out. The reviews have been stellar, 95 on average. It's a really good, solid game, guys. So if you're on the fence on should I get it, is it worth it? Yes, this is a game definitely worth a day one buy for me. There's a lot of games out here that are good, and just because they're good doesn't necessarily mean they are a day one, at least in my category. So if I'm saying that, in my opinion, it is a day one, then it's a go get. It's definitely spend your $70 and you'll be very, very happy. Or $60, I think, if you're buying it for last gen. Okay. That's good news all the way around. We don't have to worry about anybody with their pitchforks out and saying this or saying that about the game thus far. So I didn't even look at all the reviews. I just looked at the scores because I didn't want to see any more gameplay that I already had seen. So I just want to experience all that for myself because I still forgot a lot of the game. I remember the key moments, but there are some changes, and I want to, keep the surprises close so that I can experience them on my own. Okay. And that's why I stand on that. But yeah, let me get that out the way. That's good. Let's move on. And let's start talking about some of these updates, because there have been a lot of updates on some of these games, some of these announced games that I'm excited about, guys, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well. Let's start with Final Fantasy 16, shall we? Final Fantasy 16 had recently given us an update, and I mean the time it's going to take to, I guess, play through the game. Okay. And these are always, they're off a little bit in my opinion. Usually the numbers that they give, they always end up being more. Okay. And here's the numbers right now. The average time is what they're claiming is going to take to beat the game in just story, like just run straight through the story, would be about 35 hours. Okay. Now, if you wanted to complete everything in the game, they're telling us it's about 70 to 80 hours for that. Now, with those numbers, it tells me this: they always shoot low when it's never where they say it is. Pretty much, I mean, I want to say 99% of all of the reviewers or people who said certain games when they came out, hey, this game is 30 hours long if you go straight through the story. And if you play the whole thing, you can put 50 hours on it. Those are always wrong. And they always end up going longer than that. Okay. So they say 35 hours for the main story. I'm going to say 50 hours for the main story. And then if they're saying 70 to 80 hours for everything complete, I'm going to lean more towards maybe 125 hours if you want to complete this game. And I'm giving those numbers because that's typically where, from my experience, those numbers actually fall. Okay. I can't explain it, but it's always been that way, at least from my experience. Now, the people who are giving these time frames, I mean, they're talking about trying to do speed runs and shit like that, running straight through the story, not doing anything, not cutting any corners. I know there's teams that have to do that. I know that there have people who test run and test play these games, and that's fine. And I hope that's where it stays with reviewers and stuff like that, guys. I said it before, I can't be a reviewer because it's just too, if you want to enjoy a game, you can't really enjoy it if you're just running through the story and you're not really able to experience everything that the game is meant for you to experience. I just don't understand that. Now, it's cool if you're a viewer and you can take your time on a game, but if you have to rush it, if you have a deadline because you have to be one of the first people to do that, I just don't see the fun in that. And I play video games for fun, to have fun, not to be stressed out. And there's a good version of stressed out in video games, but there's also a bad version. I think the bad version is, being under time constraints and having to cut corners and not being able to just fully do what you really want to do in this game, which should be you out there experiencing things at your own pace. It doesn't always work out that way. So I choose to review games. If I do at all, it would be at my own time. There would not be a rush date. I'm not trying to be the first person on the block to have these reviews or anything like that. So if I play a game, I'm going to play it in its entirety, and I'm going to play it until it's completely finished. You know what I mean? So that's just how I roll. Hey, more power to you if that's how you got to do it. And I'll just leave it there. But yeah, that's the news right now. Final Fantasy 16. That's about the extent that we're going to be able to play it. And like I said before, guys, I'm just putting a little cushion on top. So I'm estimating maybe about 50 hours straight story. And to complete the game, maybe 80 to 100 hours or something like that, to do most of the things in this game. So I'm definitely taking my time. I'm not rushing a damn thing with this. So that's how I'll experience. And I hope you do the same. It's meant to be played that way. So let's play it like that. Let's move on to some more news. Let's go ahead and start with some Budokai Tenkaichi 4. Okay, it was just announced recently. You guys knew it. If you listened to last week's podcast, you know how excited I am about this anime. This anime turned into a video game. One of my all-time favorites of all time. Budokai Tenkaichi 3 was my all-time favorite Dragon Ball game, and now we have a 4, and a 4 has a really strong chance to take that and catapult it to number 1, because now we'll probably have online play and we'll have more characters. So let's see how that goes. But anyway, let's talk about the release date. I stated last week that it was coming out this year, but we didn't have a window. We have sort of a window if this all remains true And you know how it is in the video game world, guys. Sometimes people like to speculate and, things get out of hand sometimes. But apparently there's been some sort of employee from Bandai Namco. And, this news is coming from this said person. I don't have a name on me right now, but apparently they're stating that the game is going to release sometime around September 2023. So holiday season 2023. If it was coming out this year, I figured it would come out that time, no time sooner. A lot of people were speculating that it was going to be coming out first quarter 2024. But apparently this is not happening. Hopefully my fingers are crossed that it does come out this year and we get it. Because like I said before, we don't know how long these guys have been sitting under this game, how many years or months they've been working on this game, guys. For all we know, they could have been working on this shit for years and we just hadn't known. They kept a very tight lip about this game now, and now it's finally here and we're getting close, and hopefully we see more information. We see more gameplay, which I'm sure we will if the marketing team does what it's supposed to do. And I feel that they will, because they know the community and they know this game is going to be a banger. So let's get this shit done. Let's get this shit on the roll, shall we? Next game I want to talk about, it's another Dragon Ball Z game, and this one is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, the 5th DLC number 5, and this is going to be surrounding the 23rd martial arts tournament, guys. I told you guys before as well that I'm truly excited about this. Dragon Ball is one of my all-time favorites as far as the series is concerned. Dragon Ball Z reigns supreme, of course, but Dragon Ball is right there, especially the tournament, the 22nd martial arts tournament and the 23rd martial arts tournament, guys. Those are some of my favorite arcs in all of Dragon Ball, and we get a 23rd martial arts tournament DLC. This is what is surrounding. We got some new V-Jump scans that just came out recently, so we got some images, and one of the images shows Tien Shinhan, one of my all-time favorite Dragon Ball characters in the world, okay, side by side, standing next to Tao Pai Pai, aka Mercenary Tao. And it also states in the English translation that Tien is going to be a playable character. I knew that was going to happen, but I just had to get that confirmation. And now that we have that confirmation, I'm extra stoked for that, because like I said before, Tien is like my number 2 or number 3, depending on which day you catch me on, favorite character in all of Dragon Ball, guys. All right. And being able to relive this arc is going to be so great, because I think that a lot of people, a lot of the younger Dragon Ball fans or Dragon Ball fans who didn't get down with the OG series, who never got a chance to really see the OG series, this is going to give them an insight. This is going to give them some backstory to some of these characters, man, that they probably looked at today as like just, side characters, when in reality, these characters were what made Dragon Ball what Dragon Ball is today. This is what the foundation was built on. And this was the heyday of Dragon Ball, when everybody was more on an equal playing field. And I just really miss those days sometimes when it comes to Dragon Ball, man, and how awesome some of these other characters were, like, Yajirobe and even Tien and Yamcha and Krillin as well. Earlier on, man, these guys were all badasses. Technically, they still are in their own right when you compare them just to the average human in this universe. But compared to the aliens like the Saiyans and all of that, yes, of course, they're going to be dwarfed in power and all of that, and that's understandable. But still, I cannot wait for new Dragon Ball fans, or Dragon Ball fans who just never watched the OG series. They get a chance to finally find out how awesome some of these characters were. I cannot wait, guys, and I cannot wait to play as Tien Shinhan in this. I cannot wait for this DLC. Very excited. But anyway, that's what we got. We got a little bit of news there, and they're going to be ground fighting. So think of like the Ninja Storm series. Think of maybe Kimetsu no Yaiba, aka Demon Slayer, that game, how the combat is on the ground. They're going to do something similar to that, and they're going to give it its own recipe. So I'm anxious to see how that's going to work. And I think they're going to do phenomenal with this, because they have with the other games. So I'm highly anticipating this, and I cannot wait. This is probably going to be my most played DLC, because I've been really wanting the game to focus on the OG Dragon Ball series. I would love to have a whole game just dedicated to that, just all the 22nd martial arts tournament and the 23rd. I would love that. Or just a game where you can actually include them and include these characters in this timeline for this game. it would just make for some awesome fights. And if you guys are Dragon Ball fans and you really like Dragon Ball and you haven't seen the original Dragon Ball, you have to go watch it. You really have to go watch it. Some of the best fights have been on the original OG Dragon Ball. So definitely check that out. I'm just overwhelmed and very excited about this, guys. You just don't understand. It's a great time to be a Dragon Ball fan right now. I can't think of another time it was this good with all this content, all these movies, all these things happening, guys, new arcs, all this stuff popping off. And apparently there's going to also be some new figures that are going to be coming out around the Tenkaichi series as well. So I forgot to add that in there. That's what the guy also reported. So be looking out for all these things. You know, I'm a sucker for Dragon Ball merch anyway. You guys know this. Oh, man, cannot wait for this. So, yeah, just giving you guys a little rundown on some updates on a couple of these games that I'm really looking forward to playing. And there you have it. Now, I'm going to give you a sad piece of news, well, at least for me personally, and this is probably going to be the reason why I don't push play on this purchase. And I was looking forward to playing this as well. There's going to be open beta coming up soon. The closed beta was just this weekend, I want to say, but I'm talking about Diablo 4. It looks really good. It looks very promising. I know there's a lot of Diablo fans out here, but I have to say this. It's a no for me now for the simple fact that I just found out some new information about the game, and more companies are doing this, and I still don't understand. I kind of understand, but I still don't understand why there's not an offline mode. Apparently, Diablo 4 is going to make it mandatory that you are connected online at all times, even playing by yourself, all of that. So what that means basically is that when the servers go down, the game is null and void. Okay. That's the first thing I look for in a lot of these games. They do really encourage co-op and online play with this game, and that's fine. But to make it, hang over players' heads and basically making them stay online, even if you choose to play solo by yourself, that's the only option you have. It's destined for failure in the end, in the long run. So if you want to ever go back and play Diablo 4, okay, years down the line, guess what? You're not going to be able to do that once the servers are down. That's the part that kills me. You're going to pay this $70, $75 after tax for this game. And then when the servers crash or when the servers go down, you're fucked. You're not going to participate. If something's wrong with the internet, you're not playing it. I can't get behind that. So I have to put that one down. I was really looking forward to this. I know a friend of mine is. I don't know if he knows this or not. I'll discuss it with him in the future and see what he says. He'll probably still push play. But hey, some people are like, hey, I'll play it now and beat it. And, it'll become a memory. I won't have to worry about going back and playing it again. But, for players like me and a lot of you guys out there who collect games for that purpose, you play games, you enjoy yourself, and then you sometimes want to go back and relive a lot of these stories and some of these experiences. And you can't, because these games were made with certain recipes that a lot of people do not like the taste to. And this is one of those for me. I just can't get behind that. And then to add insult to injury, it comes out in June. Okay, the same month that Street Fighter 6 comes out and Final Fantasy 16. So that right there is always a sad thing too, because those two games is all I have the money for and probably the time for anyway. And that's going to be, to be honest with you guys, that's going to be a challenge in its own right. Okay, trying to balance both of those games, it's going to be hard. But I will definitely figure it out. I'll definitely figure it out. One good thing about that is it being a fighting game is that you can pick that up and play it for, 20 minutes and be done, or you can pick it up and play it for, 5 hours. Okay. It depends on, how you want to do it. So that's a cool thing. With Final Fantasy is more so as once you get into a game like that, you typically want to stay there for hours at a time. So you pick up Final Fantasy 16, you at least want to put, me personally, I at least want to sit down for 2 to 3 hours straight and enjoy that before I come up out of there. So that's the difference there. And I'll figure out a way to balance that, because I'll definitely be doing content. I'm going to be doing a lot And I mean a lot of content on the Street Fighter stuff because, it's a fighting game and I have lots of love and ideas for what I want to do with that game. As far as Final Fantasy 16, there will be content on that, but it will be, it won't be as, it won't be as much. Definitely not. So the communities, like I said, the Street Fighter communities is stupid crazy. It's going to be wild, especially now being able to create your own characters and stuff. That's going to be a whole nother layer, whole nother wrinkle in this blanket of a fighting game. So there's just going to be so much. And that's just Street Fighter. We're not talking about Tekken 8, which a GameStop manager was telling me the other day that it is coming out this year. I thought it was coming out in 2024. I didn't get a chance to double check that, but I will this week. And he's saying that, yeah, apparently that's been pushed up, maybe like the end of the year. So there's a lot of stuff popping out. If that's coming out, and then you got Budokai Tenkaichi coming out September-ish, if that stays true, it's just going to be crazy, man. It's going to be so crazy, but I'm here for it. And then we also got confirmation that there's going to be Mortal Kombat 12, of course. We knew that was not going to be too long before we saw that. So there's so many great things with fighting games now, guys, coming out. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed with joy. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys and give you some insight. But the Diablo 4 thing, yeah, man, I can't get with it, man. Let's talk about my anime watch list. Going to keep that short and sweet. It's very sweet and short. It's just One Piece. That's it. I did get a chance to finish some Vinland Saga, caught up on that, which is excellent. But that's it. That's all I've watched. And, you have those runs where you don't get to watch too much. And then you have those runs where that's all you fucking do is watch. So I'm right now where I'm kind of slowing down on the anime, and I'll catch back up and I'll catch fire again. Who knows? It may be this week. It may be next week. I don't know, but it will be soon. It's always that way. Think of it like the stock market, man. It's always up and it's always down. You just got to kind of ride the wave, and that's what I've been doing. So anime watch list has been very sparse. Nothing there to report. Now, I want to talk before I get out of here about a game that, I knew was in the works, but I didn't know anything about it. I knew there was a game by a company that I really, really, really have a lot of respect for, and that's Deck 13. If you guys don't know who Deck 13 is, they are responsible for the cult classics, the Surge series, Surge 1 and Surge 2. Surge 2 is just chef's kiss, man. One of my favorite Dark Souls games, period. I would say number one, but Wulong Fallen Dynasty has come close to that. So I don't know which one is better. There are different games in essence, but I don't know, man. That Surge 2 is something special. But so is Wulong, though. So still playing that too, by the way. Still playing that, beat the game, still just doing stuff, collecting things, doing all the other side missions and stuff. And I guess gonna do a little New Game Plus eventually. But until then, yeah, that's where I'm at. But yeah, man, Deck 13, this is their next game. And it goes by the name of Atlas Fallen. That's the name of the game. And it's going to be available for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. And it's coming out very soon. It's coming out May 16th, 2023. Now, my May game is May 12th, and that's a lot of people's game is going to be Zelda, okay, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. I think that's what most of us will be playing in May. But this game is here, and it looks pretty good, man. I've listened to a couple people who actually got their hands on it. Very viable reviewers. One like Skill Up is one, and he's usually very strict, and he doesn't like a lot of games. And he's saying that so far at about 5 hours of gameplay, right now it's promising. It's looking promising. If he thinks that, then that's saying something about this game. So all we know about the game right now, it's an open world RPG. Okay, which is my bread and butter, which is what I love to play a lot of the time, and that's cool. And it's not a Souls-like. That's something that they want to specify. It is not a Souls-like. When you think of Deck 13, you think of like Lords of the Fallen. You think of the Surge 1 and 2, and those games are kind of hard. They're tough, and yeah, you're gonna get challenged a lot. But this game is not in that same, not cut from the same cloth. They want everybody to know that. They wanted to try something different. And I applaud these guys for doing that, because a lot of companies don't, and they stick to, their bread and butter. And that's fine too. I think sometimes a company should just kind of stick to what they do and rock out like that. So they're just trying different things. And depending on what this game does sell wise or whatever, will probably determine their next title. And I hope they go back to maybe the Surge or something similar in that realm, because I really do enjoy those games that they came out with. Those are classics, in my opinion, cult classics. And I think they should still do stuff like that. But this game, from what I've seen, it looks pretty good. They just showed a lot of B-roll footage, which is footage that they come together with. They don't necessarily like the YouTubers and a lot of the influencers to show their own gameplay yet, because this build that they're playing is still an unfinished build, and they just want everybody to take a small peek, you know what I mean? So that's what they've been doing. I got a chance to see it, and the gameplay loop looks pretty cool. The land is lots of sand, lots and lots of sand, okay? And how you traverse around the sand is you ride on some sort of glider, and you go pretty fast, and you're just kind of like surfing on sand throughout the world. And that's pretty much how you maneuver around. And pretty much anything you see in the world, kind of like Breath of the Wild used to be, you can pretty much traverse it or at least get there. The weapon system is something like you can spec into two sides of a scale, and I guess the early part of the scale, you can spec into those things and you get certain benefits. And then you can also spec into the other side. And the other side is more of a offensive type of scale. And the more you spec into that, you get very powerful, but at the same time, you take more damage. So it's a perfect, trying to get that perfect balance, so to speak. And as you get stronger and as you, hit certain tiers on your gauge. So if, say, for example, you're fighting an opponent, you're hitting them, you're building up this gauge. Once you get to a certain part of that gauge filled up, you unlock what you call a passive buff, so to speak. And that passive buff gives you other things, like it'll make your weapon transform and change shape and become a little bit more powerful, and so on and so forth. So that's an idea. Hopefully that gives you of how this game kind of operates, how the gameplay loop kind of works. There's more to it than that, but that's the gist of it. It looks interesting. Like I said, I'm a fan of Deck 13, okay? And I'm going to definitely check it out and look into it. And, I'm not saying I'm going to buy it because, like I said, Zelda is crazy. And then after that, June is right there, and you got to save that money for those bangers, okay? Those two bangers right there. That's 75. You're looking at $150 right there, okay? So we got to be ready for that. You know what I'm saying? And we got to kind of spread it out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing a whole lot of content. I'm going to be starting to push out new content for one of my other YouTube channels, which is called Just Yo Average Fighter. I talked about it a little bit last week, and that's going to be centered around Street Fighter 6 mainly. And then some Tekken 8 eventually when that comes out. And then, of course, Mortal Kombat is there too. And then I'll put other stuff there too, because right now I'm going to be playing a lot of Soul Calibur 6, and that's going to be there. Also, I'll be playing a lot of UFC. I've been playing that a lot, so that's going to be content there. And also King of Fighters, okay? We can't forget King of Fighters, so I'll be playing some King of Fighters as well. So those will be the main 3 games I'll be playing up until Street Fighter 6 comes out. Then I'll do a shit ton of Street Fighter 6, of course. And then I think the other ones will start falling into place. So that's the roadmap right now. So be looking out for that, guys. That channel, it's a brand new channel. I've had it for a while, but I just hadn't done anything with it. So been waiting for the right opportunity to do some stuff for that. So yeah, that's what we're going to do, man. So also going to be having a TikTok there. Also, speaking of TikTok, I want to say, if any of you guys have helped out and subscribed and followed me on the Dragon Ball Drip TikTok, man, I want to say I appreciate it. Or if you have on the Random Gameplay Pimpin' TikTok as well, I want to say thank you there. We are over 1,000 followers on the Dragon Ball Drip finally. I mean, to be honest with you guys, I hadn't had time to post. My first post was the other day here after moving to the new area, and I went to bed and it was like right under 800 followers, and I woke up to like 1,300 followers. Okay, so I had made literally like 500 over that. Next day I had a video go kind of baby viral. Like the last time I checked it was like around 60,000 views. So that's really dope. So I'm almost at 2,000 followers now. That's dope. I think I was almost at 800, like 17 something. So yeah, man, as of this recording, we've done that. I'm going to be trying to stream here shortly, try to look into that and how that works. So I'll be streaming and having some Dragon Ball discussions on there, maybe even playing some Dragon Ball games or something like Xenoverse or something like that, and doing stuff like that, guys. Community stuff, and talking about that. Even I may even just, watch some OG Dragon Ball stuff or stream some of that. We'll figure it out, but we're going to make it happen. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who has participated, and, anybody else who are just fans of the series and show your love and support for that. So, yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's going to do it for the show. It was a short one, short and sweet. I want to thank everybody for coming out, downloading, streaming, supporting, listening. Any way you consume this podcast, I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you guys. And I'm glad that you look forward to this podcast every Monday. That's all I'll say. I'll be back next Monday. We do this every week, same bat time, same bat channel. Also, if you guys want to show any extra love or support, you can do that by going to www.dragonballdrip.com and check out the site. You can buy merch, hoodies, hats, t-shirts, and anything you buy there would definitely go towards helping out the show. Like I said before, check out the TikTok, the Dragon Ball Drip TikTok, and follow there if you haven't followed. And we're growing that. It's doing pretty well. And also, yeah, man, just show your love on the YouTube channel as well. Random Gameplay Pimpin' on the YouTube channel. Check that out. I got content every week. I have new video game trailers every week there for you guys as well. So you may have missed something, or maybe missed something you never even knew you wanted, a video game or something like that. So you could definitely check that out and get caught up on all of that shit. Okay. And yeah, that's going to do it. I'm going to get out of here now, and I've got some editing to do. But after that, got some other stuff I got to get to, but I will see you guys next week, man. I want to tell you guys I love you so much. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you next week. This is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'. See you next time.